to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's
Today on Around
Dream.
Kansas, our first story is about Charles Curtis, Vice President of the United States during Herbert Hoover's administration. We'll learn about his early life in Kansas and how he came to be in the national spotlight. Next, we meet our weekly From the Land of Kansas business and tour the soon-to-be-restored Jayhawk Theatre in Topeka. And then wrap up with a Kansas poem. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas Farm. Around Kansas, brought to you by Tarwater Farm and Home. Come on by, we'll treat you like family.
Good morning, I'm Deb Beisel and welcome to Around Kansas. Charles Curtis. Every school kid in Kansas can tell you that he was Vice President of the United States, and they can probably tell you that he was part Kaw and Osage. What else can they tell you? Precious little. And this fascinating man who rose from literally being born in a log cabin in North Topeka in 1860 and became Vice President of the United States just a breath away from the presidency, had a really remarkable life, and there's so much more to tell. So we're going to spend a couple of segments today talking about his incredible story. Now, Curtis was born to a French and Indian mother and a white European father. His mother, Ellen or Helen Pappan, depending on who you talk to, which source you use, lived in North Topeka, which was land owned by the Kaw. So the Pappans owned and operated a really important ferry crossing in North Topeka. It came across to the south side of the river and was part of the Oregon Trail crossing. So the Pappans operated a pretty lucrative business with the ferry. Come along Orrin Curtis. Now Orrin Curtis, typical pioneer, comes from the east. His lineage goes back to the Pilgrims. Now he was a little bit of a shady character in some respects. He had abandoned one family. By the time he died, he had married 5 times. He was not around, which might have been a good thing for young Charlie Curtis. So he marries young Miss Pappan. He's working with the Pappans in the ferry business, and then the Civil War breaks out. So he joins up. He becomes a redleg, not just a Jayhawker. He's a redleg. The redlegs are notorious, thieving and killing all along the border of Missouri. So there is a photo of him actually with George Hoyt, who was the leader of the redlegs, and so we know that he was in the thick of things. He was actually even court-martialed at the end of the war for executing prisoners that were in his under his protection, under his control. He only served a month of that before he was paroled. But we know that Orrin Curtis, or Captain Jack Curtis as he was called, was a little iffy character. Charles Curtis, his mother dies when he's only 3 years old, is essentially raised by his grandmothers. He's raised by his white grandmother in North Topeka, the staunch Methodist Republican, and his French and Indian grandmother, who goes to live on the Kaw Reservation at Council Grove when the Kaw are removed to Council Grove. So much of his childhood is spent on that Kaw Reservation with a really idyllic life for a little boy. He's hunting, he's fishing, he's riding horses. It's a really good time. But as we'll see when we come back from the break, his life is about to change drastically.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road.
Welcome back to Around Kansas, and we're talking about Charles Curtis, Vice President of the United States under Herbert Hoover and native Kansan, Native American. Now, when he is living on the reservation with his grandmother down at Council Grove, the Kaw Indian Reservation, 1868, he's only 8 years old, and the Cheyenne attack the Kaw Reservation. It's little Charlie Curtis who walks back to Topeka by himself or with his uncle, depending on the story, and lets Governor Crawford know that they are under attack. So he is a first-hand witness to the Indian Wars. He goes on to become a jockey. Part of the way he makes money is riding horses, and he is a jockey at a race in Ellsworth, Kansas, documented by my friend Jim Gray in the book Desperate Seed. He meets the legendary lawman Bill Tillman, who actually buys a pie for the Indian boy, and they sit out and share a pie. There's another time they're racing in Kansas City at the fairgrounds in Kansas City when Frank and Jesse James rob the ticket office. Young Charlie Curtis hears the shots being fired as Frank and Jesse are robbing the ticket office there. He'll go on to have a taxi business in Topeka, which means that he had a buggy. So he had this buggy around town that he would carry the legislators, the attorneys. You know, he was their taxi driver. He got to know them, and he got to know one really well, Hib Case. And Hib Case mentored young Charlie, and Charlie eventually passed the bar, and then he was elected county attorney for Shawnee County. And when he was elected county attorney, he did a couple of things that brought him to the national spotlight. He closed the saloons. He had campaigned on the prohibition ticket, so he was going to close all the saloons and enforce the laws that were in place. And he prosecuted Boston Corbett, the man who killed John Wilkes Booth. So those two things brought him to national attention. Now, Boston Corbett, bless his heart, a Civil War veteran with a few issues, had been living out in Cloud County, just south of Concordia, when he got a job at the State House. And he was a doorkeeper, a guard of some sort, and he held up the state legislature at gunpoint. And some say he actually fired a gun and can point to marks in the walls that may have been made by bullets. And he was committed to the state asylum in Topeka, where he eventually escaped and never to be heard from again. But Charlie Curtis is the man who put him there. So that's when he gained national attention for that, and then his career was just off and running. Congress, the Senate, he became the first Republican majority leader of the Senate, and then the convention, the Republican convention in Kansas City, to nominate a presidential candidate, and Charlie's name is in the running. Now, he had not acknowledged that he was really disappointed that he didn't get the presidential slot. He said, "I didn't come here to be second place." But when he got second place, he was he got over the disappointment and actively campaigned. A tremendous response in Kansas and Oklahoma when he was nominated on that ticket. He was often called the third senator from Oklahoma because he had so much family there. He had so much business interest there. He was also called, while he was in the U.S. Senate, one of the four Western men who had basically taken over the power in the Senate. It was at that time, in the teens and 20s, that the power shifted from the East to the West, a really significant time in American history, and he's front and center. Fascinating character, and I just wanted to let you know some of the stuff that I'm doing on him. I'm working actually on a book and a documentary film about Charles Curtis, so stay tuned for more. We'll be right back.
Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Pope, here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Around Kansas, brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
From the Land of Kansas is a trademark program that helps Kansas businesses grow, produce, process, or manufacture Kansas products. Let's meet Graze the Prairie, a beef producer located in the beautiful Flint Hills of South Central Kansas. They like to say their cattle are raised on grass and sunshine, and a visit to their website gives you 10 reasons why they believe grass-fed cattle produce the best beef. Their cattle graze all year on native tallgrass prairie range. They're never shut up in a pen or feedlot, and never implanted with hormones or fed any GMOs. Any animal needing antibiotics for sickness is removed from the herd and not sold through Graze the Prairie. You can also find information about retail beef cuts and how a 1,200-pound steer can leave you with only 475 pounds of meat after being processed. Visit their website at www.grazetheprairie.com.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com. Good morning, I'm Frank Chafin, and of course on Around Kansas we're doing some stories about the old opera houses in the state of Kansas. Many have been restored, and we're really in the gallery of one that is in the process of being restored. And we're here with Ben, who is the secretary of the Jayhawk Theatre of Kansas board. We had said previously that in 1926 it took $750,000 to $1 million to build the theater.
Right.
Now we're looking at a restoration. Kind of give us an idea of what we're looking at there.
The restoration for the total bill is going to be right around between $8 to $9 million.
Wow.
That includes redoing the theater, and also we're going to have a conference center attached to it as well.
Huh. Now, where we are now, we're not in the theater itself, we're adjacent to the theater. This is the Upstage Gallery, which is on Jackson Street in the 800 block. And there are a lot of activities that go on here as well. So kind of tell us some of the things that have been done and
Sure.
coming up.
We've been a busy year. We have, of course, you can see here in the Upstage Gallery, which is part of the theater, we have a First Friday. So the first Friday of every month, we have a new artist who comes in here and shows off their paintings or any other type of media they may be dealing in. We also do some events inside the theater. We recently just showed the Rocky Horror Picture Show. We showed it 4 times over a weekend and had a great success, and we're sold out at almost every showing. And we're looking to do some more things of that nature.
Okay. If someone would want to get interested in the restoration process, how can they find out more about?
We can go to our webpage, which is Jayhawk Theater.
Okay.
We're also the official state theater of Kansas. We've got that designation during the Bill Graves while he was governor, so we are the official state theater of Kansas.
Well, kind of elaborate on that. What does that mean? Does it mean nobody can tear it down now, or what?
Well, yeah, it can't be torn down because we're also on the historic register. So we are safe, but there's the official state theater of Kansas. It was a Bowler Brother design. We're the prototype for the Bowler Brothers. So a prototype for about 300 other theaters across the United States at one time. This was the first one.
Wow.
So it does have some historical significance in that way, because it's one of the very first concrete and steel theaters, no wooden beams anywhere like that, and they always said every seat in the house was the best seat in the house.
Okay. Well, I know during the Rocky Horror Picture Show, there are a lot of people that came here that had never seen this.
Right.
And if you haven't seen this place, I mean, there's a beautiful walkway, which they're out there polishing the tiles right now. So give us an idea. I mean, can there be groups to come in and take tours?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
It's easy if you just go to our website and give us a call. You can come down and take a tour anytime. We have volunteers down here that would love to take you on a tour. We have board members. Someone says, hey, we'd love to come down and take a look. We're always anxious, and we have a lot of fun doing that.
Okay.
So right now the theater is in a little bit of disrepair, but it's got great bones. I've never done a tour where someone's went in there, looked around, and go, oh my goodness. Everyone goes in and goes, wow,
Yeah.
this place is amazing, and when it gets up and going, it's just going to be even more amazing.
Yeah, it is a wow. So for Around Kansas, this is Frank Chafin with Ben at the Jayhawk Theatre in Topeka, Kansas, and we'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Here's another gardening tip from Annette Jackson at Jackson's Greenhouse.
If you have empty patio planters or hanging baskets left over from last year, you can bring them to Jackson's for replanting this year. Just stop in with your containers and tell us what you want in them. You save money and time and help our environment by recycling your old planters instead of throwing them out.
Bring in your planters and baskets. Sign up to win tickets to the Kansas Garden Show. We'll have 50 pairs, so come on in.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. Go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Howdy folks, I'm Ron Wilson, Poet Laureate. Some years ago I was invited to a statewide festival, and it was mostly urban people, and I felt I needed to do a reminder of the great cowboy history of our state, Kansas. Kansas is a cowboy state. It's in our legacy. Kansas blazed a trail throughout Western history. It all started with the Native American Indian, as you know, who roamed the open prairie and hunted buffalo. The new explorers charted the wilderness, braving harsh conditions. Coronado, Lewis and Clark, and John C. Fremont's expeditions. U.S. cavalry soldiers came out west to build forts. Fort Scott, Hayes, Leavenworth, Larned, and Riley, of course. Kansas was a key crossroads of the trails of the day to Oregon, California, and down to Santa Fe. When Texas Longhorns needed to be shipped east by rail, the cowboys drove those herds up the Big Chisholm Trail. It was the toughest cattle drive those cowboys had ever seen, up to Dodge City, Caldwell, Wichita, Ellsworth, and Abilene. The townsfolk knew they'd better have things all battened down, because some cowboys sure went wild when they finally got to town. They'd gamble and shoot and drink up their fill, and a few left their graves up on top of Boot Hill. But like everything else, those times went through change. Homesteaders built fence where there was open range. Brave pioneers came west to make a homestead as their perch and built the institutions of the home, the school, the church. Now the spirit of the cowboy in our state is living still, from the feed yards out west to the rolling Flint Hills. In the heart of a Kansan, the cowboy spirit lives on, and the values our people will still draw upon. They work hard and play hard, are honest and free, values that matter to you and to me. It's part of the history that makes Kansas great, so we're thankful Kansas is a cowboy state. Happy trails.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
Oh, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream. We're the best part